Okay, any questions?
Yes.
Should he resign?
Nearly 2 weeks ago, I wanted to bring you up to date. Nearly 2 weeks ago, I issued a public records request to Speaker. It actually is 2 weeks today. To Speaker Batchelder's office for any correspondence concerning Representative Mecklenburg's arrest in southern Indiana on April 23rd. Not received anything as of yet. Typically, 7 to 10 days we wait for receipt of the request. I read in the dispatch, however, that they in fact received my request with disdain and contempt. My description, not theirs. And we eagerly wait their reply. A string of incidents involving another state representative from the Republican caucus, Representative Jarrod Martin, has since come to light. Those incidents include a March 2010 episode in which Representative Martin was found passed out intoxicated in the Reich Center parking garage. He was passed out literally on Speaker Batchelder's Chevy Suburban. You could not write a screenplay like what we've read over the course of the last 2 weeks. In a May 2010 incident, Representative Martin was found highly intoxicated and sent home from a bachelor party following a noise complaint in a hotel in the Miami Valley. It remains unclear why Representative Martin and Speaker Batchelder's team were silent about these incidents over a year ago. I've issued a new public records request to his office, to Speaker Batchelder's office, seeking information. Additionally, we filed subsequent public information requests to the Ohio Building Authority, as well as officials at the Reich, to get what I'm sure you've all asked for. It's the videotape of the parking garage on the night in question. I find it, as most Ohioans would certainly agree, very troubling when Speaker Batchelder and his campaign team decided to hide information regarding Representative Martin's behavior from the public. Neither the Reich Center incident reported last week by the dispatch nor the incident at the Beavercreek Hotel reported by the Dayton Daily News were disclosed to the voters of the 70th House District before the general election. His constituents deserve to have this information when they went to the ballot box in November of 2010. Speaker Batchelder, his campaign director Mike Ditto, and Representative Martin himself decided to engage in a cover-up. Numerous questions about the Reich Center incident remain unanswered. For instance, why was Representative Amstutz the person informed by authorities regarding Representative Martin's state? One can probably come to some conclusion why Jarrod's mom was called after a hotel incident, though he's an adult. Perhaps his mom wasn't available in March 2010, and Representative Amstutz sat in for his parents. Was Representative Martin given special treatment by the House leadership, by the authorities at the Reich Center, or by the Ohio State Highway Patrol? I've sent a letter to the Joint Legislative Ethics Committee and Tony Bledsoe requesting an investigation in this matter. We can give copies of all of the requests that we made to you. And with that, I'd open it up for any questions.
Do you think Representative Martin should resign?
I think that's a question that Representative Martin should answer, be asked. I am more concerned at this point as to the strategy to withhold information that Speaker Batchelder, then Minority Leader Batchelder, as well as other members of his leadership team, down to the campaign director for the caucus, engaged in over the course of the several months between the March 2010 incident and the November election. It's certainly a cover-up, and I think Speaker Batchelder needs to tell the truth as soon as possible. As you know, on July 18th, when I submitted, when I submitted my public records request, Mike Ditto was quoted in the Columbus Dispatch and a couple other newspapers, very critical of our curiosity over here at the Ohio Democratic Party, and was dismissive. He indicated at the time that there was certainly no information that we would find that would somehow indict the leadership of the Speaker and his campaign team. If that's the case, why has it taken thus far 14 days for that information to be generated, or the request to remain unfulfilled, and reasons why should have been forwarded to me? Since as all of you know, and as I've said repeatedly, I was in the House for almost 10 years, and I was the minority leader for almost 4 years. I understand that as the leader of your caucus, of which the Speaker was when he was the minority leader, and the majority leader now is in charge of his caucus. The Speaker is not in charge of his caucus. The Speaker is the Speaker of the House. I need to remind him of that because in a gaggle he showed additional contempt for me when I was showing curiosity, expressing curiosity as to what the heck is occurring in the Republican caucus. And Speaker Batchelder said that I should worry about, quote, Democrat Party, an old tired insult to Democratic Party members, and that he would pay attention to his own caucus. But he's not the caucus leader. He's the Speaker of the House. The majority leader has a responsibility to come forward as well, and those in and around the campaign team for the Republican caucus to tell us why this information was covered up.
But in all fairness, don't you think that the Democrats have covered up some
Always
stuff
speak
too?
in fairness.
Seriously, I mean, though, don't you think that goes both ways? Haven't the Democrats at times covered
No,
things?
I don't know of an incident when I have, or those around me, have purposely misled or did not provide public information or did not or participated in the cover-up. I can't remember a time. Now, we all have human families. Democratic members, House, Republican members, Senate members, political leaders, we all have families. The question remains for the constituents, for Mr. Jarrod, for Representative Martin's district. Had they had this collection of information then, would they have elected him by a 70-30 margin in the 2010 general election? Would it have been arguably closer? Certainly. Would it have affected the judgment of the voters of that particular district? Absolutely. As you know, with Representative Mecklenburg, we waited until it became increasingly clear that Representative Mecklenburg's arrest was more than DUI, not to diminish the seriousness of a DUI, but the fact that he was engaged in activities that some have alleged to be, including prostitution, those kinds of things, really provided a distraction to the House that even the Speaker agreed with. In the case of Representative Martin, had members known, had the public known back in March 2010 that a legislator had literally fallen asleep intoxicated on the minority leader's car at 2 o'clock in the morning, would it have affected their judgment in the voting box, voting booth? I believe it would have. And all we can do is, as I've expressed to a couple of writers in the past who were critical of me when we have used the Freedom of Information Act, all we can do is ask for information and ascertain what the truth is, collect the facts, and then make our judgments. I'm asking for the Speaker's assistance in that collection of facts. I'm asking for officials at the Rife Center at the State House for those facts and those pieces of information when we'll gather our conclusions.
We also have the option, if it's not provided, to go into court.
Yes.
Will you try to do that for the first?
Well, Speaker Batchelder was a practicing attorney and was a judge. He understands the law as well as I do. I'm eager to have my request fulfilled. He does have about 30 days as required. Typically, these kinds of things, we wait 30 days, but historically it's been 7 to 10 days before requests are fulfilled.
And if it's not, will you go to court?
We will? Yes, we will. Although I don't anticipate that being the case.